In Luke chapter 24, we read Luke's account of Jesus' resurrection. Starting in verse 13, the chapter cuts later that day to two guys. They're followers of Jesus, not one of the disciples, but they're walking to Emmaus. Jesus appears to them, and verse 16 records that they were kept from recognizing Jesus. Luke 24, verses 30 through 32 is one of my favorite passages, though, because it captures the moment when everything finally clicks for two discouraged followers. And I think oftentimes that's where I live. That's where we live. The passage says, when he, Jesus, was at the table with them, he took bread, he gave thanks, broke it, and began to give it to them. And then their eyes were open and they recognized him. And they said to each other, they asked each other, didn't our hearts burn while he talked to us on the road and opened the scriptures to us? I love this passage because for most of the story, they don't know that Jesus is right there. They're confused, hurting. They're disappointed with God. They had expectations of how things should go, and when life didn't match up, they started walking away from Jerusalem. They're walking away from hope, away from community, away from what God was actually doing there. And yet, instead of letting them go, Jesus draws near. He walks their road. He listens to their pain. He opens the scripture and reframes their story, reframes their perspective, their understanding in light of God's promises. And still they don't recognize him until one simple, sacred moment. They invite Jesus to stay with them that night. They sit at the table to eat, and Jesus takes the bread, blesses it, breaks it, and gives it. And it's in that moment that their eyes are opened. And looking back, they realize when he was teaching, when he was speaking, when he was explaining all of what's happened, our hearts were burning within us because of what he said, and more importantly, because of who he is. And that's why I love this passage. It sounds a lot like my life, honestly. So often I don't see what God is doing in real time. My vision gets clouded by fear, by disappointment or confusion. I want explanations. And Jesus offers presence. I want control. He offers conversation. And many times it's only later that I recognize that Jesus was very intentionally using that time. My heart was burning. My faith was stirring. And Jesus was with me on the road. Wherever you're at in life, wherever you're at in your journey, my friend, whatever challenges, heartache, disappointment, confusion you might be facing, don't miss that Jesus is right there, walking with